revolutionary solution to overcoming the #1 relationship problem.
When Sarah and I married in 1973, I didn't say to her, I hate you and you hate me, so let's get married. It didn't go down that way. So how is it that couples who have goodwill, who really do love and respect one another, end up in the divorce courts? I believe they're on the crazy cycle, and they're not decoding.
Overcoming the crazy cycle. Next.
Code. This is a great, I like this. Now this, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs has written a book that was a bestseller on love and respect. And now then he's taken it a step farther when he's talking about cracking the communication code. And I'm really excited about someone. Focus on the Family, one of the largest family emphasis groups in the world, is encouraging everyone. They actually, in some ways, you might say, giving oversight or sponsorship to some of the seminars for couples. And that's a plus in the sense that Focus on the Family is focusing on the family and on marriage relationships. And boy, we've got some problems today. And you know, maybe he'll find some between the two of us and get us straightened out. That's the hope we've got anyway. Cracking the communication code, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. Would you welcome Emerson to Life Today? Good to see you, man. I don't know if there's any hope for me and Betty or not. You know, I know if anybody can help us.
Well, I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve.
Yeah, I can tell you really are. You get to talk to a lot of people. You'll have, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people in the seminars, because some of you say, okay, we'd like some help in our marriage, and all of us should want it if there's any need, and we are continually learning. We're students of relationship and communication, but there's the website if you want to get information on it, and you may want to say it. What's the website?
Loveandrespect.com.
That's the name of your ministry, too, which actually was birthed not only out of the book, but out of teaching this. It became so important that you actually had a whole change of direction. Am I correct in that?
Yes, I was pastoring. I had pastored one church for nearly 20 years and discovered something that was hidden in plain sight in Ephesians 5:33.
And what is that?
I forget.
What is it?
That is the summary statement to the greatest treatise in the New Testament on marriage. And that is as though this is God's last word to the church. You know, if my dad was dying and he said, Emerson, come close. Listen to me, son, come close. I need to say something to you. Well, you know that whatever my dad's about to say to me will be the most important thing he's ever spoken. The last words a person speaks are the most important. It's going to come deep from his soul, and he intends for it to go deep into my soul. Well, in a similar way, Abba, Father, though he's not dying, has spoken his last word to the church. And he is saying, in effect, come close, church, listen to me, listen to me. And there we read, husbands must love their wives, and wives must respect their husbands.
Whoa. Now, let me read your summary in this new book that actually refers back to the old book. I thought this was a great statement. And I really, you actually evidently thought that the love and respect aspect was so great that even in the beginning of this book, and the other was a bestseller, you went back and summarized, right?
Yes.
So it's that important, this love and respect issue.
Yes.
If you don't have that, communication's already short-circuited from the get-go, right?
Well, if it's God's last word to the church, it hasn't changed.
All right, I got you. Now, let me read this. Without love, now get this, without love, she reacts without respect. And you emphasize that that is critically important, not only what God said there, but the fact that a man really wants that from his wife. And I can affirm and confirm that is one of the things that I want. As a matter of fact, I have said to Betty, even in recent days, I don't feel like you respect me, and it ticks me off. I've said that, excuse me.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
But let me read the next sentence.
Sweet Betty?
That's right. Sweet James, too. Without respect. Well, sometimes she does.
I snicker a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, dear. Without respect, he reacts without love. Let me read them over. Without love, she reacts without respect. Without respect, he reacts without love. Now, my question to you, who initiates this process? Sometimes when I think she doesn't respect me.
Do I get to say something?
Oh, yeah. Hold your hand up. I think, if she doesn't seem to respect me, is it because I didn't do it right in the first place? You want to answer that?
So what we're trying to find out is whose fault is it?
Yes, that's exactly right.
We're not communicating correctly.
That's right.
Right.
Because...
Do you have an opinion?
Oh, I always have. You may not like it.
Do I need help?
But, we're talking about communication
That's right.
here.
That's right.
When we first married, I was not very good at communication between the two of us because I had practiced pouting a lot. I was really good at pouting. In other words, just holding it all in and letting it build beyond really where it started, you know, and out of proportion. And so he was determined that we were going to communicate. Whether it was good or bad, we were going to communicate. And
we hadn't read your book. We had conversation.
But I do understand that. I want him to love me, and I see and know that he wants me to respect him.
Yes.
And if we'll do that, the communication will go the right direction.
That's right, that's right. And the question you're asking is, well, who starts first?
Right.
And, well, the answer is this. The one who sees himself or herself as the most mature moves first. And we can explain that in just a moment. But all of us want the other to move because we feel if they do, obviously, I'll respond lovingly and respectfully. But the question is, what if you get on that crazy cycle, which is what we call it? Without love, she reacts without respect, and without respect, he reacts without love. And that's, again, based on Ephesians 5:33. And here, I had the privilege of studying the Bible 30 hours a week for nearly 20 years. I was in one church as the senior pastor. And I was meditating on that. Husbands must love. I thought, well, apparently she needs love like she needs air to breathe. And she has this air tank connected by an air hose.
I think that's probably correct.
And so when we step on her air hose, she's not a happy camper. Then I asked myself, I wonder how she reacts negatively when you're stepping on the air hose, and that's when I had this illumination. I'll bet she reacts in ways that feels disrespectful to him, which is why the Lord commands her to be respectful. And then I looked at the other side. Why is it that God commands her to respect? Because we need respect like we need air to breathe. We have a respect tank connected by an air hose, and when she steps on that, we negatively react. So Betty's commanded by Jesus Christ to put on respect even if you don't deserve it. And in fact, it is unconditional respect toward your spirit. Many women stumble over the idea, well, are you saying respecting his bad behavior? No, respectfully confronting that behavior. You see, the point we make is that it's very natural for a woman to love. That's why God does not command her to agape love. Only husbands are commanded to agape love. I thought, Lord, why is that? And that inaudible voice said...
Now, how do you define agape love for people who might not understand?
That's a very good question.
Where are you coming from in that?
In marriage, and in the New Testament or in the Greek, there's agape love, which is that God-like, unconditional love. Then there's phileo, Philadelphia, friendship-type love, and that's the Titus 2 passage that talks about that. And then eros, the erotic. All three are components of marital love. But husbands alone are commanded to agape love. No wife is commanded to agape love. And I thought, well, Lord, why is that? And this inaudible voice said, I designed her to love. I put it within her nature to nurture. Women love to love. You have to wound a woman to get her to stop loving, right? But when she feels unloved, it's very natural for her to be disrespectful. And that's why she's commanded to respect, whereas you and I are not commanded with the same Greek word to respect. Why? Because you and I, James, live by the honor code. You and I serve and we die for honor. Honor is a huge, energizing value to us. And when we feel contempt or disdain or disrespect, it's very natural for us to be unloving. And thus, that's that love and respect connection. When she feels unloved, she reacts in ways that feels disrespectful to you. When you feel disrespected, you react in ways that feel unloving to her. But here's the issue. We challenge couples to decode. And you're asking the larger question, who starts this and who's behind this? The answer is yes. The answer is no. It depends on what the specific is. Sometimes she can feel unloved inappropriately. Sometimes you can feel disrespected inappropriately. That's your issue. Other times you can come across unlovingly her. She can come across disrespectfully. Finding fault at this point isn't my main point, but more is this, decoding. When she comes across you disrespectfully, the deepest cry of her heart is this, James, I just need reassurance that you love me right now. You matter to me more than anybody, and only you can meet a need I have. And I'm reacting this way because I expect you to decode that and discern that.
So when I say, quit talking to me, you know, snappy and disrespectful, she doesn't feel much love out of that?
Well,
I'll
have to give some thought to that. That's a pretty good, that's a stumbling block question, I'll tell you.
Really, now how would, let's say the husband, by the way, you have the chapter, which I guess is really where you try to give the answer to this, and that's what, the crazy cycle?
The crazy cycle. Without love, she reacts without respect, and without respect, he reacts without love, and then without love, this baby starts to spin, and many good-willed couples are ending up in divorce courts who are good-willed. In fact, Paul says in 1 Corinthians 7, where husbands are concerned about how to please their wives, and wives are concerned about how to please their husbands. And he penned Romans, the great treatise on the depravity of the human heart. But Paul assumed that in marriage, husbands and wives had basic goodwill. When Sarah and I married in 1973, I didn't say to her, I hate you and you hate me, so let's get married. It didn't go down that way. So how is it that couples who have goodwill, who really do love and respect one another, end up in the divorce courts? I believe they're on the crazy cycle, and they're not decoding. She's not trying to be disrespectful. She's seeking reassurance that you love her. He's not trying to be unloving. He's seeking reassurance that you still respect him for who he is, apart from his performance.
Yeah, I got it. Now, if you're going to get out of this cycle, how do we initiate the process? Do we both just say, we have work to do? Was I okay to tell her I feel disrespected? Because she didn't really come back and say, I don't feel loved. You know, she didn't say that.
That's right.
It's just the fact that we're acknowledging there's something going on here. Is that part of getting over the crazy cycle?
Well, it comes back, yeah. I have to decide, am I married to Hitler's distant cousin or not? I mean, the point is, part of the way we get off that crazy cycle, when Sarah's coming at me, you know, and I'm feeling disrespected, I have to internally say, is this a good woman?
You're the teacher on all this marriage stuff.
Oh, yeah, but see, we practice the crazy cycle.
Oh, you practice
all the time.
That way you know more about
Oh, yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
I think the key as a woman for me is to know that he's really hearing my heart.
Yes, yes.
I've got to know that.
That's right.
And I need to be able to hear his heart.
That's right. That's
and we
right.
both want that. That's a settled issue.
And you are examples to many of us. I think that there are a lot of couples, though, that would say the same thing, and yet she's communicating her need to feel love, for instance, in ways that feel very disrespectful to him. Mm-hmm. And there are times when a man is saying, you know, you really ticked me off for not respecting me, but that comes across so unlovingly that she can't hear the deeper cry of her heart.
Yeah.
So part of the challenge is making sure that when we're communicating that deeper need for respect or love, that we do it in a loving, respectful way. And we all blow it. Proverbs 24:16 says, a righteous man falls 7 times, but arises again. So no one's going to do this perfectly.
Where is that, Proverbs what?
24:16.
Powerful statement.
A righteous man falls 7 times.
Michael Irvin, who just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, he said he heard God when he was groveling around in all of his shame and being a lousy example. He's heard God look up, get up, and don't give up. That's basically what that proverb is saying.
That's right. That's a good. That'll preach. You should be a preacher.
I probably should.
You know, that's a...
All right, now we got to cover some ground because Emerson's going to be back again tomorrow. I want you to get this book. It's in the bookstores. Again, the website is there too if you want to know about where these seminars are going on. So if we initiate the overcoming of this crazy cycle. Now, for instance, we had this little discussion. It's not like it has only happened once or twice. We've had them.
And we do like to call them discussions.
Yes.
That's right with her.
Yes.
And so I asked her in this recent discussion, which wasn't too many hours back or days back, I said, because she just goes on about her business, and I can tell she's dying inside, you know. I finally said, would you just come in here? Could you just sit down? So she came around and she just sat down. She showed me respect. She at least came and sat down.
Yes.
I said, could we just talk? Now let's talk. Okay, be sure. Was that the right thing to do? To sit down and go ahead and talk?
Yeah. And I think in your case, and you would be a little bit of an anomaly because you're such a gifted communicator. So part of the challenge for Betty is to come to a point where she feels that she can compete with you. It's not that that's her intent.
Right.
But you can capture so quickly the dynamics, the emotions. You can probably even explain to her what it is she's feeling before she discovers what she's feeling. You know, Sarah, my wife, used to throw her arms up and said, it's always me, it's always me. You know, I would, because I'm trying to help.
Her.
Yeah.
She and Sarah need to meet.
Exactly.
They might have their own book.
That's true. But part of the challenge for us who are communicators as males is the wife sometimes is afraid of sharing her deepest feelings because, one, she's not quite sure what she feels at this moment, so she doesn't want to be disrespectful. But at the same time, she suddenly feels like it gets twisted around. That suddenly, now I'm just trying to define the situation, but she thinks I'm defending myself, and she feels blamed, and I'm letting myself off the hook. And that was a dynamic that I had that you would probably have. Now, that isn't as common, but that's one of the dynamics in couples like us.
And you really do need to sit down and be determined to get through it, right?
There has to be a commitment.
There has to be that coming together.
Right.
You're going to get out of this cycle.
But part of it comes back to this issue, and I want to repeat this. Many couples get on this crazy cycle, and they begin to conclude that the other person has ill will. They begin to be suspicious, because if you really valued me, you wouldn't be treating me this way. Because, you see, he feels offended by her disrespect. Nobody treats me with disrespect but you. And then she gets upset.
I fire other people who treat me.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And she feels unloved, and I can't believe it. And she gets together with maybe a friend. I can't believe that he treats me this. He treats you this. And so both have this feeling of being offended. And what we say is, without love, defensively, she reacts offensively without respect. Without respect, defensively, he reacts offensively without love. Now, neither intend to be offensive, and this is why I want to come back to the ill will issue. I have to come to a point in my relationship with Sarah where I believe she's a good-willed woman who's not trying to offend me, even though she's coming across to me at this moment in a very disrespectful way, and I'm de-energized by it. I have to make a decision that we're allies, not enemies, even though I'm not comfortable right now and I don't like what's happening.
Right. Boy, this is so good. Now listen to me, and I need to talk to you right here, okay? We really love one another. There's no put-on deal about it. And by the way, she got a guy that had a lot of fleas and flies and everything else, more than she thought. She knew I loved God. She just knew she didn't know I'd bring along all of the trappings. But boy, she loves me. And that love heals. And boy, that love lifts. And she's a lifter in so many ways of me. And hopefully I am her. But here's what you got to get. I want it for you. And boy, I'm so small, such a microscopic measure and expression of the love of God. I mean, but I feel that for you. Think how much this great God, who can enable us to get it right, I mean, and work through it when nothing's right. This God loves you. And this God wants you to have a relationship. You just say every relationship I've ever had, I've had divorce. I don't mean, it may all be, in your opinion, curtains. But to God, if you just give him an opportunity, it can be the new beginning you've always longed for, right where you are in your relationship. And so I want to encourage you. And by the way, you want someone to pray with you, that telephone number's there. I mean, there are people who've been through it, who are going through it, but are holding on to God, who will reach out and pray with you. So don't hesitate to call for prayer. We're always going to give you a chance to help others, because that's one of the best ways you get blessed, is bless others. But get this book. It's in the bookstores. I mean, if you want to get out of the crazy cycles and you want to have communication, run get it. Go online. Go to whatever, Amazon, I don't care where you want to go. Get it. But get it as quickly as you can. And then we're going to talk tomorrow.